Hello and welcome to the Stylcraft tutorials. This series of videos are here to help you along with the Ross Blanket. Designed by Bligh, Stylecraft are running this as a crochet along, so hopefully there'll be many of us making this beautiful blanket together. The videos are made using UK terms, and Catherine has designed the blanket in special DK using a 4.5mm hook. Today we'll be looking at the small corner square. As you can see, there are two colourways, colourway A and colourway B, and we'll just be focusing on colourway A. Thanks for watching and let's get started. To begin our small corner square, we're going to take the dark brown shade and we're going to make a magic ring. So to make a magic ring, I take the tail of the yarn and put it down the palm of my hand and grab it like so, and wrap from left to right around my thumb to make this cross shape here. Then I'm going to take the hook and put it under this tail end, and then I'm going to grab the yarn from here and pull it to the front. Then I'm going to grab yarn from the same place and pull it through the loop on my hook like so. And that secures your magic ring, so I can take my thumb out of there now and I can hold the yarn as I normally would. And I'll hold the magic ring down here because that's what I'm going to be working into. So to start off round one, we need to chain 1 and we're going to put 4 DC into the magic ring. One, 2, 3, 4. So now we can tighten up that ring by pulling on the tail. There we go. And we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first DC, not the chain 1 space but the first DC. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where we're going to be going into. So join with a slip stitch and then we're going to chain 3. So this is the start of our second round. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to be putting a treble into that same DC where the chain 3 is started from. And now we can chain 4. So you've got your two trebles there. Chain 4. And we're going to put another 2 trebles into the next DC. Chain 4 again. And 2 trebles into the next DC. Another chain 4, another 2 treble into the next DC, and now we can do our last chain 4. As you can see, the chain 4s are making the corners of this little square motif. So now we're going to join the last chain 4 that you've done to the first treble with an invisible join. So I'm going to cut the yarn and using the hook I'm just going to pull that tail through there like so. So this is your first chain 3 here, and this is your first treble, and we're going to go into the stitch at the top here. So at the top of your first treble, just go into the stitch as normal, picking up that little V, and we're going to get the tail that you've just cut, place it on the hook and pull that yarn through to bring the tail to the front of the work. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into that very last chain that you did. Instead of going through the full stitch, like the little V that we've just gone through here, we're just going to go through the back loop of that stitch. And instead of going from the front to the back, we're going to go from the back to the front. So this was the last chain here. We're just picking up that back loop, like so, from back to front, grab that yarn and pull it through to the back. So there we go. So if you can see here, this is the loop we've created, and when you pull it tight, it forms something that looks just like a stitch. So that's why it's called invisible join. Obviously it's really hard to see on this dark shade, so I'm going to be showing you on the other shades as well, so where you'll be able to see it much better. So now we can move on to our third round, which is in cream, and we're going to be joining with a standing treble. So for a standing treble, I take the yarn on the hook and I hold the tail end of the yarn on the hook like so to keep it in place, and I wrap the yarn around about 3 times, so I've got 3 loops on the hook. Then I can insert the hook into where I want to start. We can start at any chain 4 corner space. So I'm going to start this one, keeping the yarn to the back of the work, insert the hook like so, and then I can finish that treble as normal because we've got the loops on the hook to do so. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's your standing treble. I'm just going to keep that secure there whilst I do my next stitch. So we're going to put a treble into that same corner space, and then we can let go of this now because it's not going anywhere. So that's your first 2 treble. Now we're going to do chain 2 and another 2 treble into that corner space. So into that corner we've got 2 treble, 2 chain, 2 treble. That's what we're going to be doing into every corner. But now we're going to move on to these 2 trebles here, and we're going to be doing front post trebles around them. So start your treble as normal, yarn over, and instead of going into the top of the stitch like we normally would, we're going to go from front to back around that post of the treble. So the post is sitting on your hook, and finish the treble off as normal. And then we're going to do that onto the next one. So yarn over, and we're going to be going in between these 2 trebles, putting your hook in between them both. So round the back to the front, yarn over, pull through, finish that treble off as normal. So now you've got 2 front post trebles around the 2 trebles from the second round, and as you can see it creates a little raised effect, which is what we want. So now we're going to do into this corner what we've done here, 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles. There we go. And now we're going to do the same as what we did to these 2 trebles here. We're going to do front post trebles around these 2. So yarn over, insert your hook around the back of that post and complete your treble. And again in between the 2 trebles now, putting our hook in between them 2 to get around that post. There we go. So now we're going to do, as we've done here, we've done 2 repeats, we're going to do another 2 to finish off this other half of round 3. So we're going to do 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles into this corner, front post treble around each of these trebles here, 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles around here, and then 2 front post trebles around here. And then when we've got to that stage, I can then show you how to do the invisible join. Okay, so when we've got around to here, I'll see you then for the invisible join. So now that we've finished our 3rd round, we should have 2 treble, 2 chain, 2 treble into each of the corner spaces, and 2 front post treble around each of the trebles from the 2nd round. Okay, so now I can show you how to do the invisible join on a much lighter colour, so it should be easier. We're going to cut the yarn using the hook to pull that tail through. And now we are going to insert the hook. This is your standing treble, and this is your normal treble. We're going to insert the hook into the top of the normal treble, which kind of sits in between these 2 trebles here. And it's that little V, as normal as you would normally work through a stitch, that we're picking up here. And you see there. Yeah. So now we're taking that end that you've just cut and placing it on the hook and pulling it through to the front of the work, like so. And then working into that last treble that you did, we are going to insert the hook from back to front, and not through the full stitch, just through that back loop. Okay, just through the back loop of that last treble that you did, like so. And we're going to grab the yarn and pull it through to the back. So now you can see it's this loop here that we've created, and when you pull it, it looks just like a normal stitch. Okay, so now we can start on our 4th round with Storm Blue, and we are joining to any chain 2 corner space. So starting with the Storm Blue, we're going to do another standing treble. So just like before, hold the yarn in place, wrap the yarn about 3 times, insert the hook into any chain 2 space, corner space, keeping the yarn to the back of the work, yarn over, pull through the work, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's your standing treble. I'm going to put another treble into the same corner space, and you can let go of that. So you've got your 2 trebles into that corner space, and now we're going to chain 2 and put another 2 trebles into that corner space. There we go. So now we're going to be working across these trebles here, and the first 2 trebles we're going to be putting 1 front post treble around each of these 2 trebles. So yarn over, putting our hook into the space, the chain 2 space, to get around the back of that treble, and then in between these 2 trebles. And then we're just going to put normal trebles into these next 2. So we're going into the stitch that is just to the right of the post. So when you're working in the round, that's where you go into. So there's your 2 normal trebles. And now we're doing a front post treble around each of these 2 trebles. So that's 1 repeat. You've got your corner and then along the edge. So we're going to do the same into this corner here, 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles. Then we're going to do the same along this edge as we did here. 1 front post treble into each of these, 1 normal treble into each of these 2, and 1 front post treble into each of those last 2 trebles there. So around that post, in between those 2 trebles, and yeah, 2 normal trebles, and your post trebles. Okay, so now we're going to put 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles into this corner. Work exactly the same along these stitches as you have here. Another corner, 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles, and then working into each of these trebles as you have done here. So I'll see you when you get to that point.